When love was supposed to be enough, Amara used to believe love was a kind of medicine. Not the bitter kind that stung your throat on the way down, but the warm, honey-coated one that soothed pain without you noticing. She believed that if you loved someone hard enough, long enough, deeply enough, everything broken would eventually mend itself. That belief was the reason she stayed with Kofi. They met in their second year at university. He was loud, charming, and carried a laugh that filled entire rooms. Amara was quieter, careful with her words. But when Kofi noticed her in the library and asked if she always frowned at books like they personally offended her, she laughed for the first time in days. That laugh became their beginning. Kofi loved Amara in a way that felt grand at first. He wrote her notes on scraps of paper. He waited outside her lectures just to walk her back to her hostel. He told her she made him want to be better. But loving Kofi also meant loving his storms. His moods shifted like sudden rainfall. Some days he held her like she was the safest place in the world. Other days he snapped at her for small things, answering a call late, asking where he had been, reminding him about responsibilities he kept postponing. Each time he hurt her, he apologized with the same trembling sincerity. Amara, you know I love you. I'm trying to fix myself. Don't give up on me. And she never did, because she believed love was patient. She believed love healed. Years passed, university ended. Reality began. Kofi struggled to keep jobs. He blamed difficult bosses, unfair colleagues, bad timing. Amara got a stable position at a small accounting firm and carried most of their financial weight without complaint. When rent was due, she paid it. When electricity was about to be disconnected, she found a way. When he forgot important dates, she smiled and said it didn't matter. Her friends watched quietly at first. Then they began to ask questions. Amara, are you happy? And she always gave the same answer. He's going through a phase. Love takes work. What she never admitted even to herself was how tired she was becoming. The fights grew sharper over time. Words started cutting deeper. Kofi hated feeling like he was failing, and somehow Amara's strength reminded him of everything he thought he wasn't. One night, during an argument about money, he said it. You think you're better than me? Because you're the one holding everything together. Amara froze. I've never thought that, she whispered. You don't have to say it. I see it in the way you look at me. That night, she cried silently in the bathroom, pressing a towel against her mouth so he wouldn't hear her breaking. But in the morning, she made him breakfast anyway. Because love was supposed to fix everything. By their 10th anniversary, Amara had mastered the art of shrinking her expectations. She stopped asking for help. She stopped asking for reassurance. She stopped asking for promises to be kept. Instead, she told herself stories. Stories about how one day he would wake up and realize how much she had sacrificed. Stories about how time and loyalty would transform him. Stories about how love always wins in the end. She clung to those stories like they were oxygen. The night everything changed wasn't dramatic. There were no shattered plates, no screaming neighbors, no grand betrayal. Just exhaustion. Kofi came home late again. The smell of alcohol followed him through the door. He barely looked at her as he dropped onto the couch. You forgot today, didn't you? Amara asked softly. Forgot what? She nodded slowly, as if confirming something to herself. It's fine. He shrugged and reached for the television remote. Amara walked to their bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed. Her eyes landed on the small gift box she had bought weeks earlier. Inside was a watch engraved with the words, "For all the time we survived together." She picked it up and turned it over in her hands. Then, for the first time in 13 years, she asked herself a question she had always been too afraid to face. What if love isn't supposed to hurt this much? She returned to the living room and sat beside him. Kofi, she said gently. He didn't take his eyes off the television. Do you think love fixes everything? He laughed lazily. Of course. Of course. Why? Wouldn't it? Amara studied his face, searching for the boy from the library, the one who made her laugh, the one who promised he wanted to be better. I used to think so too, she said. That made him glance at her. What do you mean used to? Her voice trembled, but she didn't stop. I think love helps people grow, but it can grow for them. Kofi frowned. What are you saying? Tears began slipping down her cheeks before she even realized she was crying. I've loved you with everything I had. I loved you when you were lost. I loved you when you pushed me away. I loved you when I stopped recognizing myself. He sat up straighter, confusion replacing indifference. Amara, I kept believing that if I loved you enough, one day things would change. But Kofi, her voice broke. Love isn't supposed to be something you use to survive someone else. Silence filled the room. Heavy, suffocating. He stared at her as if seeing her for the first time. And maybe he was. You're leaving? He asked quietly. Amara shook her head slowly. I'm choosing myself. That sentence shattered something invisible between them. Kofi's eyes filled with panic. No. No. You can't just say that. We've been together for 13 years. I know, she whispered. We've been through everything. I know. I love you. Amara. The words landed differently this time. Not as comfort, not as hope. Just as truth, arriving too late. She reached into her bag and placed the small watch box on the table. I bought this for you, she said, for our anniversary. He stared at it, but didn't open it. I didn't want our time together to mean nothing, she added softly. It meant everything to me, but I can't keep waiting for love to become something it isn't. Kofi's voice cracked. I can change. Amara closed her eyes briefly, letting fresh tears fall. I believe you can, she said. I just don't think I am supposed to stay while you figure out if you will. Those words broke him in a way anger never could. She stood up slowly, every movement feeling like it weighed 1,000 kilograms. She looked around the room that held 13 years of memories, laughter, fights, apologies, quiet moments, and silent heartbreaks. At the door, she paused. Kofi's voice came out as a whisper. Did you ever stop loving me? Amara turned back, her face wet with tears, her lips trembling with a fragile smile. No, she said. That's why this hurt so much. She opened the door and stepped outside. Kofi sat alone in the quiet apartment. After several minutes, he finally reached for the gift box. His hands shook as he opened it. The watch gleamed under the dim light. He turned it over and read the engraving. For all the time we've survived together. A sob escaped his chest as realization crashed into him. Surviving together wasn't he? The same as living together. Across town, Amara walked down the empty street, hugging herself against the cold night air. Her heart felt like it was being torn apart with every step forward. But beneath the grief, beneath the unbearable ache, there was a fragile, unfamiliar feeling. Freedom. She whispered into the night, her voice breaking into tears. I hope love fixes you someday, but tonight, it finally saved me.